It was the middle of the day inside a small convenience store. Bright sunlight poured through the glass windows. Security cameras blinked quietly above the aisles. Customers moved slowly, picking snacks, drinks, and newspapers. Nothing felt unusual. Steven Seagal stood near the counter, calm and silent. No entourage. No bodyguards. No attention-seeking behavior. Just a man waiting to pay. Then the door swung open hard. A thug walked in with loud steps and restless eyes. His presence changed the air instantly. People felt it before anything happened. He scanned the store like a predator, looking for weakness, looking for fear. His eyes stopped on Steven. Steven did not react. He did not stare back. He did not move. That calm was mistaken for fear. The thug smirked. He stepped closer. Too close. Customers noticed. Some froze. Some looked away. Some reached for their phones. The thug laughed loudly. He wanted attention. He wanted control. He wanted to dominate someone in front of everyone. Steven remained still. Relaxed posture. Steady breathing. Eyes calm. In the thug's mind, this was an easy target. An older man. Quiet. Alone. He believed intimidation was power. He believed volume was strength. He believed fear made him important. He had no idea who he was standing next to. He had no idea what discipline looked like. He had no idea how quickly control can turn into collapse. The cameras kept recording. The customers kept watching. Time slowed. This was not a movie set. This was not staged. This was real daylight. Real people. Real consequences. One wrong move was coming. One mistake that could not be taken back. The thug leaned in closer. The distance disappeared. The line was crossed. And in that exact moment, everything was about to change. Because the man he chose to intimidate was Steven Seagal. And calm does not mean weak. Silence does not mean harmless. What happened next shocked everyone inside that store. It was a quiet afternoon at a small convenience store tucked along a busy street. The rush of the morning had passed. The evening crowd had not yet arrived. This was the slow, calm hour when time felt softer. Sunlight poured through the wide glass windows. Dust floated gently in the air. Shelves were neatly stacked with chips, candy, and bottled drinks. A soft hum came from the refrigerators lining the wall. People moved without urgency. A construction worker picked an energy drink. An elderly man read headlines near the magazine rack. A college student waited with coffee in hand, scrolling on his phone. The cashier rang items lazily. Receipts printed. Coins clinked. Nothing suggested trouble was coming. Steven Seagal stood near the counter waiting his turn. Casual clothes. Simple jacket. No jewelry. No signs of status. His posture was relaxed but grounded. Feet placed evenly. Shoulders loose. Eyes aware but peaceful. He did not rush. He did not fidget. He did not scan the room aggressively. He simply stood there, patient and calm. People barely noticed him. To most he looked like another customer. Quiet. Reserved. Ordinary. This was how he preferred it. The door opened suddenly with a sharp sound. The calm shifted instantly. A loud thug stepped inside. Heavy boots. Wide shoulders. Aggressive walk. He pushed past a customer without apologizing. Knocked into a display rack. Did not care. His voice filled the room even though he had not spoken yet. Arrogance followed him like a shadow. People noticed. Heads lifted. Movements slowed. The thug looked around as if the store belonged to him. His eyes judged everyone. Searching. Measuring. He wanted dominance. He wanted attention. He wanted someone to react. Then he saw Steven. Steven did not look back. He remained still. Focused. Unbothered. That calm irritated the thug. Silence felt like disrespect to him. The thug stared harder. Longer. Waiting for eye contact. Steven gave none. To the thug this felt like an invitation. Like weakness. Like fear. He took a step closer. Then another. People sensed it. A woman shifted away. The cashier paused mid-motion. A man near the door hesitated, unsure whether to leave. Steven stayed composed. His breathing remained steady. His face showed no emotion. Years of discipline lived in that stillness. Years of control. Years of experience. But the thug knew none of that. All he saw was a quiet man who would not acknowledge him. The store felt smaller now. The air heavier. The calm afternoon began to fracture. No words had been spoken yet. But intent was already clear. This was the moment before everything changed. Backhand index pointing right. Comment below where you are watching from, and respect to calm people everywhere. The thug stepped closer until there was no space left between them. Too close. Close enough to feel breath. Close enough to provoke a reaction. He leaned in with a crooked smile. Mocking. Enjoying the tension he was creating. "You look lost, old man," he said loudly. His voice echoed across the store. A few customers froze mid-movement. A hand stopped reaching for change. A coffee cup paused in the air. Everyone sensed it. This was no longer harmless. The thug laughed again. A harsh sound filled with arrogance. He wanted fear. He wanted submission. Steven did not step back. He did not raise his voice. He did not insult him. He simply lifted his eyes. Steady. Focused. Unshaken. For a brief second the thug hesitated. Something in Steven's expression felt different. Not anger. Not fear. Control. Steven spoke quietly. His voice low but clear. "Walk away while you can." It was not a threat. It was a warning. Some customers felt a chill hearing it. Not because it was loud, but because it was calm. The thug scoffed. He mistook restraint for weakness. "Or what?" he replied, laughing. He took another step forward. Chest puffed out. Trying to dominate the space. Steven did not move. That lack of movement insulted the thug more than words ever could. People began to whisper. Someone near the door slowly backed away. A phone camera started recording. The cashier's hands trembled. No one knew how this would end. The thug raised his hand and poked Steven's chest. Hard. Deliberate. "Don't ignore me," he snapped. Steven's eyes never left his. Still calm. Still controlled. "Last warning," Steven said softly. That was enough to push the thug over the edge. Ego flared. Temper ignited. He grabbed Steven's jacket violently. Fist clenched. Fabric pulled tight. Gasps filled the store. This was no longer intimidation. This was assault. Time seemed to slow. The hum of the refrigerators faded. All attention locked onto the two men. The thug believed he had won control. He believed he had dominance. But what he did not understand was this. Steven had been calm by choice. Not because he could not act. The moment that jacket was grabbed, the situation changed completely. The warning had been ignored. The line had been crossed. And the thug had no idea that the calm man he grabbed had spent a lifetime mastering control. The store held its breath. Because what came next would happen faster than anyone could process. In one sudden movement everything changed. No warning. No wasted motion. The moment the thug tightened his grip, Steven reacted. Not with rage. Not with panic. With precision. Steven shifted his weight slightly. His body turned just enough. The grab lost its power instantly. In the same motion Steven's hand moved. He deflected the grip. Redirected the force. Twisted the arm with exact control. The thug did not understand what was happening. 1 second he felt strong. The next second his balance was gone. A sharp crack filled the air. Not from impact. From sudden pressure. The thug slammed hard into the counter. Snacks flew. A display shook violently. Pain exploded through his body. A sound escaped his mouth that was not a shout. Not a threat. A scream. Customers gasped. Someone dropped a phone. Another stepped back in shock. The thug tried to pull away. His body refused. His arm was locked. His strength useless. Steven did not rush. He did not strike wildly. Every movement was controlled, measured, efficient. The thug collapsed to the floor, unable to stand, unable to move. His face twisted in pain. His earlier confidence vanished completely. Arrogance drained from his voice. Fear replaced it. He screamed again, begged. Pleading replaced threats. Steven released pressure and stepped back. Immediately, cleanly, the thug stayed down, clutching his arm, breathing fast, shaking. The entire store fell silent. No whispers, no movement. Only the hum of the refrigerators remained. Steven stood there calm and still, breathing steady, expression unchanged. He did not celebrate. He did not look around for approval. He did not say a word. His posture showed control, not dominance. Restraint, not aggression. Customers stared in disbelief. The same man they thought was weak now stood untouched, unshaken. The thug could not even look at him. Eyes filled with regret. The cameras kept recording. Every second captured. Every movement clear. This was not chaos. This was discipline. Steven adjusted his jacket slowly, as if nothing unusual had happened. No anger burned in his eyes. Only calm awareness. The store felt different now. The tension replaced by stunned silence. Everyone understood something important. They had just witnessed the difference between violence and control. The escalation ended as quickly as it began. Because true power does not need time. It only needs precision. The security cameras continued recording without pause. Every angle was clear. Every second was captured. Nothing was hidden. Customers slowly realized what had just happened. Whispers spread across the store. Shock replaced fear. Disbelief replaced noise. People looked at the thug on the floor. Then they looked at Steven. Again and again. The man who had entered loud and confident now looked small. His strength was gone. His control was gone. His voice shook. He clutched his arm and groaned. Pain forced honesty out of him. Fear stripped away his pride. He begged. Not loudly. Not aggressively. But desperately. Please stop. I am sorry. I did not know. His words stumbled over each other. The same mouth that mocked now pleaded. Steven did not raise his voice. He did not threaten. He did not insult him back. He leaned in slightly. Just enough to be heard. Just enough to be clear. Violence is always a choice. The words were quiet. But they carried weight. They were not spoken with anger. They were spoken with certainty. The thug looked up. Eyes wide. Face pale. In that moment he understood something deeper than pain. He understood consequence. Steven stepped back, creating distance again, restoring calm. The message was delivered. No more force was needed. Customers exchanged looks. Some nodded. Some shook their heads in disbelief. Phones remained raised. Hands trembled. No one cheered. No one clapped. This was not entertainment. This was a lesson. The store felt frozen in time. The air was heavy. Not with fear. With realization. The thug stayed down. Not because he was forced. Because he knew better now. Steven stood quietly. Waiting. Patient. He had defended himself. Nothing more. Nothing less. This was the turning point. The moment when power stopped being physical and became moral. Everyone watching felt it. The shift. The clarity. Violence had not escalated. It had ended. The choice had been made. Backhand index pointing right. Should Steven have stopped earlier, or did the thug deserve it? Type stop or deserve. The sound of sirens grew louder outside the store. Red and blue lights flashed across the glass windows. Police arrived moments later. Officers entered carefully. Hands near their radios. Eyes scanning the scene. They saw the thug on the floor in pain. They saw Steven standing calmly near the counter. They saw customers watching in silence. No shouting followed. No resistance. Witnesses stepped forward one by one. They spoke clearly. They spoke honestly. They explained how the thug entered aggressively. How he pushed people aside. How he mocked and provoked. How he crossed the line first. Security footage was reviewed. Angles were checked. Timing was clear. Everything matched the stories. Steven answered questions calmly. Short responses. Respectful tone. The officers nodded. They understood what had happened. One officer quietly thanked Steven. You defended yourself. You showed restraint. The thug was lifted slowly. His arms supported. Pain visible on his face. Handcuffs clicked shut. The sound echoed briefly. No one cheered. No one smiled. The thug was guided outside. His earlier arrogance gone. His head lowered. The door closed behind him. Silence returned for a moment. Then life resumed. A customer exhaled deeply. Someone lowered their phone. Another shook their head slowly. The cashier straightened the counter. Items were placed back on shelves. A fallen display was fixed. The store slowly returned to normal. The hum of the refrigerators felt louder again. The ordinary sounds returned. Steven walked back to the counter, picked up his items, placed them gently down. He paid without rush, without comment. The cashier looked nervous, then grateful. Steven nodded politely. A simple gesture. No pride. No attitude. He took his receipt, adjusted his jacket, and walked toward the door. Customers watched quietly as he passed. Not with fear now, with respect. The door opened. Daylight spilled in again. Steven stepped outside, as if nothing had happened. But everyone inside knew better. They had witnessed something rare. Control under pressure. Strength without cruelty. The store would forget the noise. Forget the chaos. But the lesson would remain. True strength does not announce itself. It does not raise its voice. It does not demand attention. It waits quietly. Observes. Chooses restraint until restraint is no longer an option. Calm people are often the most dangerous when pushed. Not because they seek conflict, but because they understand it. They know when to walk away. They know when to stand still. And they know when a line has been crossed. Steven showed that power is not about intimidation. It is not about size or noise. It is about control. Never judge someone by their appearance. The quiet man may carry discipline. The silent person may carry years of experience. What looks like weakness is often patience. What looks like fear is often choice. The thug judged too quickly. He saw calm and assumed helpless. He saw silence and assumed submission. That mistake cost him everything. The lesson is simple. Respect should not be selective. It should not depend on strength, status, or ego. Treat people well even when you think you are stronger. Especially then. Because real power is revealed when pressure arrives. Not before. This moment was not about fighting. It was about boundaries. It was about consequences. Steven did not seek violence. He avoided it until it was forced upon him. That is what self-control looks like. In a world full of noise, calm stands out. In a world full of ego, discipline wins. Let this be a reminder. To stay humble. To stay aware. To stay respectful. You never know who is standing next to you. Backhand index pointing right. Type respect if you believe self-control is real power and comment your country below.